Hey, gang. Hey, Super Batman Nerd. Looks like we got about four people in here. I wasn't sure, how many we would have for this movie because um, most people are used to me showing a lot of either horror movies or on Sundays, they're used to me showing, maybe a more well-known like comedy movie or something. So I don't know how many people are familiar with tonight's movie, Mystic Pizza, starring Julia Roberts, Lily Taylor, Annabeth Gish, Vincent D'Onofrio, William Moses, and Adam Stork. Okay. Um, as I said on one other stream, this is a movie that I remember my dad renting, and I don't know exactly what my dad expected, but I don't think this was his cup of tea. Maybe, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. So the other part of this was that, and I know I probably bored people to tears telling them this story about my search for Mystic Pizza. Okay. But I'm going to tell it again just for the benefit of anybody that hasn't heard this story already. So my original plan was to buy a frozen Mystic Pizza from Whole Foods here in Louisville, bake it. I think somebody thought I was going to eat it frozen, and bake it and have a piece or two during this watch along. Well, you could get it delivered supposedly, but Whole Foods wanted to charge you $9.95, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. So I got Steve talked into taking me over to Whole Foods on Shelbyville Road, and I went in there because online it said that they were out of stock of the cheese pizza, and then a week later it was back in stock. To me, that's not a discontinued situation. That's a situation where they ran out of them and got more. Okay. So I went in the store, went to the frozen pizza section. They had every other kind of pizza, but no Mystic Pizza. Okay. And evidently, that's the only place in Louisville that had them. Okay. And of course, I can't, get delivery from the actual Mystic Pizza, which is in Connecticut. There's be no way that I could do that. So I thought I would be smart and go ahead and order it because they told me when I went in the store, I asked one of the workers in the store, and they told me they'd been discontinued. I thought that was odd, but he told me there were discrepancies. There could be discrepancies in the inventory. So I just had to take him at his word. And so I thought, well, I'll be smart and I'll just have it delivered. And 2 hours went by, and then they said they couldn't fulfill my order. So I had a backup plan in place. I looked up a recipe for Mystic Pizza and was able to find one. I followed that recipe today. I will be putting up a video later showing how I made it, in case anybody is interested. And I'll be putting it on my channel. But forgive how I cut the pizza because I'm not the best pizza cutter in the world. But this is my version of Mystic Pizza, okay? So I will be eating this slice during the watch along. Okay. It doesn't appear that we're going to have that many. I do apologize that I had to change the time from 7 to 8 because I got behind on making the pizza. So forgive me for that. Usually when you have things like this later, more people come. But um, I believe I don't know if it's still going on, but AEW's having a pay-per-view. And as Wes so eloquently tells me, CK tells me sometimes, you're competing against whatever wrestling show was on. So I can only assume if the wrestling show is going on, those few of you that um, are here because you're not really interested in watching the wrestling thing. So I thank you for that. Um, and I hope nobody's too angry with me for having to change the time a little bit before 7. Okay. So I'm going to show something, just a fun little thing that I wanted to show that I found when I was doing some cleaning and straightening today. So I thought I would show them in case there's people out there that don't know about these and would like to use them at a party or something like that. So let's go ahead and kick off the Daily Grindhouse. Super Batman Nerd, you say you stopped watching wrestling a few years back. Well, I have a sneaky suspicion that that's where a lot of people are that would normally be here. I don't think like Blissful and Unseen, but they may have gotten confused by me changing the time on them, which I hate that I had to do that, but unfortunately got into making the pizza, couldn't really stop, so had to adjust it. So here we go. Let's kick off the Daily Grindhouse. Okay. So what I wanted to show real quick is everybody knows about the Mad Libs we did as a kid. You know, you fill in different, a noun, a verb, an adjective, or whatever in the blanks. And then you all get to laugh because when you read this stuff off, it's usually really funny. Okay. But did you know that there are adult Mad Libs? So I have, let's see, I have 3 different adult Mad Libs. This is the Office Mad Libs. And of course, it's got an office meme. Let's get nothing done at work together. Okay. And it's just like the Mad Libs when we were kids, right? So you can see that there. So, for instance, this one says you put an exclamation in there. Easy there, partner. What's the problem here? Uh, I'll tell you the problem. I just received an invitation for, and you put an adjective, meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. Do you know what day of the week tomorrow is? That's right. It's Friday, the most adjective day of the work week. But, you have several of those in the office one. There's my bleeping family Mad Libs. And there's also for a girls' night out, this is party girl Mad Libs. And I also have something that is more of like a homemade type of thing, but I think it's funny. Naughty Adult Word Games, Filthy and Fun by Danielle Blue. And there's maybe some of this stuff that might get me kicked off of YouTube, so I won't go into detail, but all of these were purchased from Amazon. So if you're interested in getting either this naughty adult word games book or the adult Mad Libs, I'm almost sure that Amazon will still have those. So that's just something fun I wanted to kick off there and show. Now I've lost a couple of people, so it might just be me and you, Super Batman Nerd. So either people are doing wrestling thing, or they're doing other things, or they got confused by me changing the time, or any number of things could have happened. Or they just not interested in Mystic Pizza. I did fully expect Blissful to be here tonight because she seemed like she wanted to to do that. She did send me a message earlier. I hadn't had a chance to listen to it, so it might be possible that she told me that she couldn't be here for some reason. Okay. So I don't know. That might put a little damper on things, but Super Batman Nerd, let me Oh, Super Batman Nerd. I did not think you were arguing. Now that guy that uh was saying nasty things about me in the Dead Pitch stream, that was arguing. And then he got me all mad and stuff. No, that was perfectly fine. Uh no, you were definitely not a universal prick, Super Batman Nerd. No. Um Sometimes I just like to yank people's chain playing around with them and stuff. I was totally not upset at all. So don't you worry about that. And you weren't the only one saying stuff. There were other people saying stuff, and none of it bothered me. So, I mean, you didn't get kicked out, so it didn't bother me. So, um, I have the link to join me live on the stream in case anybody now or that comes in later, barring it not being 30 minutes, or I mean 30 minutes, 30 seconds before the movie ends, you are more than welcome to join in. If it's 30 seconds before the movie ends, you won't be able to be on here very long. I'm sorry, I'm starving to death, so I'm going ahead and picking at this pizza here, which is very good, by the way, if I did make it myself. Um, Also, Steve got me an Alani energy drink today, and this is mimosa flavored, so I'm kind of curious if it's going to taste like a mimosa or what it's going to taste like. It does indeed taste like a mimosa to me. And I'm sorry if I'm waving my hands around. We still got a few of these fruit flies that are, refusing to go away or die or whatever. And so, Super Batman Nerd, I did want to ask, are you going to be watching along tonight? Because I can let you know where I'm at. I am using the Blu-ray. Again, I don't know how many people have the Blu-ray that are going to be watching tonight. But I'm 10 seconds in, right before the MGM line is getting ready to roar. So if you have a copy on Blu-ray, or I believe you can buy and or rent it from either Amazon Prime or YouTube. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find like a for free copy. I always like to do that, but several people have asked me why. Hey, Russell. Um, I lost my train of thought there. These flies are driving me crazy. Um, some people have asked me, and I probably don't need to bring this up again, but I will a lot, or not a lot, but some people have asked me why I don't just stream the movies on here. And the reason I don't is because I've worked hard to get my channel where it is. I would hate for my channel to be terminated, not because I'm making a living off of it or anything like that. It's just because it's fun and I built up an audience, and I would hate to have to start all over again, with the new channel and all that, because I got terminated for, copyright infringement. So, some people have told me that certain movies don't matter, but I would rather just not play that game. And you can't really get permission for everything. I got permission for the Before the Evil Dead Super 8 shorts. That was a little bit easier to do. and to track down the copyright owner and all of that stuff. But I simply can't do that for every movie out there. So that is why I usually leave it up to the people that are in the watch alongs to find their own respective copies of it. Unless I can find a for free version on Tubi, Internet Archive, or YouTube or something like that. Yeah, Super Batman Nerd. I am definitely afraid that I would get flagged and possibly my channel would get terminated. Thank you, Russell. You and Super Batman Nerd seem to understand that. But there have been certain people that have just kept asking me over time. So every once in a while, I bring that up again. Russell says, not enough wrestling and too soapish. I'm an old school fan. I think I'm an old school fan too, Russell, of wrestling. And that's right, Russell. And as Jay said too last night, it doesn't matter. Tommy got killed. You know, it doesn't matter one way or the other. And I honestly am not mad at anybody in any way. So, you got it queued up on 1, 2, 3 movies. All right. So Super Batman Nerd has got a. I'm guessing that's a for free way to watch it. Super Batman Nerd is 1, 2, 3 movies. I'm not up on all of these different places you can go, so I'm glad that you guys and gals out there give me other options or give other people other options. All right, awesome. So we got 7 in here. Not a whole lot of people chatting yet, but maybe they're having internet problems or something like that. Russell, you say, or like Mom would say, that's not wrestling. But whatever you want to watch, I guess. So I think we'll go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to do the countdown. Like I said, I'm 10 seconds in on my Blu-ray. The line is just about to roar here. So we'll do the 3, 2, 1 and go ahead and get started. So 3, 2, 1, press play. Oh, hey, Rooster, you say you're on the line. Okay, well, I'm just now off of the line. And now it's going to the Samuel Goldwyn Mayer, I think. That blue screen. Samuel Goldwyn Company. And here we're getting the opening scenes of. I am almost sure that these are actual young pictures of the girl or the women in the movie. However, you do notice some kind of cut and paste type of deals where it's actually supposed to be a young Lily Taylor, young Annabeth Gish, young Julia Roberts together. Um, but I like how they did it for the time period. They did a really good job. For instance, this picture here, you can obviously tell it's kind of a cut and paste deal. I think I may have seen Dog Soldiers, Russell. I'm not sure about Doomsday if I've watched it. I'm sure Steve probably has. Super Batman Nerdy say I bought Tommy Boy and Lara Croft Tomb Raider steelbooks earlier for $7.50 a piece. Man, that's a good price, Super Batman Nerd. So we're opening on what appears to be a wedding. right? And there's Vincent D'Onofrio there, looking very happy, so we can assume he's the groom. And we see both Annabeth Gish and Julia Roberts up there, and there is Lily Taylor. Yeah, Russell, I don't think I've watched Doomsday. So yeah, he's looking really happy here. But Lily Taylor, unfortunately, here, her character is JoJo, um, is not looking too well right now. You say they go to get a cure for a virus? Well, that sounds like it might be my type of movie too, Russell. So JoJo, like I said, she does not look well at all. Up, there she goes. She just passed out. So now we're seeing the movie version of Mystic Pizza. Now, my pizza turned out well that I made, but not nearly as, good as theirs. I mean, it tastes delicious, um, but keep in mind that I follow the recipe too. And here's the well, there's Annabeth Gish there. But we just saw the lovely Julia Roberts. I love Julia Roberts. Some people don't much care for her. And I love those shirts. I want one of those shirts that says a slice of heaven on it. So there's a bunch of cannibals too, Russell. Yeah, I definitely will have to check it out. So Julia Roberts has got her eye on Adam Stork there, driving through town in his fancy car. So Joe or JoJo, Joe's having the jitters, right? So she said while she was standing up there, she was seeing herself all fat and ugly with these kids swarming all around, and she just couldn't do it. So, so these guys are making fun of Bill here, and Bill doesn't like that. I think Lily Taylor's really cute. I mean, when she was young, she was just so cute. Super Batman Nerdy said, can't wait for payday so I can go back to Walmart and get Evil Dead 2 and Candyman Day of the Dead Blues. Yeah. So Bill's making sure Joe is okay and everything, and then he wants to know how's November 21st for. So Daisy's pretty much Julia Roberts' character is pretty much the party girl. Um, Kat, Annabeth Gish's character, is, planning for college and all of that stuff. She has two or three jobs and, um, helps out and everything. And Daisy's the black sheep or the wild child in the family. So Kat is going to deliver a mystic pizza to her mother and her mother's coworkers. Okay, actually, her mother says that Kat's got four jobs. So not only does Kat have four jobs, but she's a straight A student as well. So overachiever. So this is the introduction of William Moses as Tim Travers. And Kat is going to be a babysitter or nanny or whatever for Tim's young daughter Phoebe, while he's working on a job and his wife is away in England. So Phoebe, of course, is a little shy girl. So he's basically looking for somebody to help out until his wife gets back. So you can tell that Kat has done her fair share of babysitting. And I've done a fair share of babysitting in my younger years, and this is the key thing, is to get a child to trust you. Okay. Um, I've had kids try to, like, one of my first babysitting jobs, I had a kid try to run out of the house after their parents. So I had to get that, issue calmed down. Um, but, if you can get them interested in something, and so Kat has discovered that Phoebe likes to be read to. Okay. She's 4. She, can't can't read a lot or at all yet. And Phoebe is very precocious too. First she said she was 6, and her dad said she's 4, and then she said she was 9. So this the Peg Leg Pub is where I guess people hang out, where young people mostly hang out at when they're not working, not when they're going to school. So again, the people are trying to aggravate Bill. And I don't know if people play pool as much now, but back in the day, people played a lot of pool. I just think Julia Roberts is just gorgeous in this movie too. Actually, all 3 of the main girls are very, very attractive. There's Adam Stork, and oh man, Adam Stork, like, even when he was on the stand, I was like, that guy's good looking. So here he's even younger. And that, usually he plays good guys. But I did see him play very bad guys in at least maybe a couple of, like, I guess Lifetime movies, you would call them. And one of them that I watched kind of recently, I kind of wished I hadn't, because, he's such a good actor that he pulled that off so well. But then he can be, he was charming on that, but he was an evil, evil guy. In this movie, he's good looking and charming and sweet and nice and all that. So you get everything in this movie. The Stand, he was also um, very good looking, charming. He was a singer, musician, um, and he also was a decent guy. So, oh, that's okay, Superman Nerd. You say I'm back. Had to restart my phone. The YouTube app was being wonky. Oh, I totally get that. Um, I am thinking that I probably should have listened to my message from Blissful, because I bet there was. I mean, I hope there's nothing serious going on, but I'm betting that message was telling me that she wouldn't be able to be here tonight. Um, which is okay. I'm hoping that everything's okay with her. And you guys will notice probably that I have an oscillating fan back there now. It's not a floor fan, but it is a table fan. And man, is it making a difference back here? I have seen The Descent, Russell. I have definitely seen that. That's a pretty decent movie too. So Adam Stork's character is here with. I don't think the blonde is really his girlfriend. I think that's his date for the night, but he's got his eye on Julia Roberts. And the lady he's that Adam Stork is with doesn't like it, as you can tell there. I also like the music in this movie as well. So they're kind of, I guess, I don't know if you would call it doubles or what, or teaming up or what, but Adam Stork and Julia Roberts are a team, and his friends there, the couple right there, are friends or a team. Sorry, Russell. You say it's cold in Toronto, and you're not complaining. Yeah, I mean, I am so ready for fall. So ready for fall. I can feel it. It's coming. It just hasn't quite got here yet. So you can see that Julia Roberts, Daisy is very, very good at pool. So the other guy says, I think we got a ringer here. And the girl says she's really good at this. So yeah, that's obvious. And then the girl says, "I know what you are, a hustler," and they kind of get on her for saying that. So it's obviously fall because we see Halloween party October 31st on the chalkboard back there. We're also going to see, fall leaves and things like that. So I think Daisy thinks she's kind of missed her chance with Adam Stort's character. So we can see that the families are pretty much, predominantly Catholic here in this town of Mystic, and but Daisy didn't go to mass, and her mother's disappointed. Daisy instead has went and purchased a new dress, and Kat says $160. Are you out of your mind? And she says she's going to return it after she's worn it somewhere. She says, "Hey, Blissful. I'm sorry I didn't get to your message earlier. I've just been like running from one thing to the another today." I don't know. I never did like bologna. I was never a fan of bologna, so I always thought it was kinda odd that this little girl wanted bologna and cheese on white bread. I will listen to it, Blissful, I promise. I've got, um, few things to clean up in the kitchen, and I'll probably listen to the message while I'm doing dishes in there 'cause, I made my mystic pizza today and did a video. Actually, I've got to put it up of me making the pizza. So if there's anybody out there that is interested in making their own mystic pizza, feel free to watch my video if you want. Super Batman Nerd, you say I was gonna say I was a shy person when I was young. Me too. Me too, Super Batman Nerd. Extremely shy. Hey, Unseen. Oh, I get those types of days, Blissful. I definitely do. So we're seeing that Kat and Tim are, they're sharing mutual likes, or interest, hobbies, stuff like that. And you can tell that Kat is feeling very close to Tim, and we think now that he's feeling a closeness with her too. I don't want to give too much away because here is going to progress. So all the girls are hanging out at night. This is Bill's boat, and Joe says that was going to be her wedding present. That the boat used to be named after Bill's mother, and he changed it for JoJo or Joe. So this is something you don't necessarily see a lot in movies. I mean, they're drinking light beer, but it's chicks drinking beer, and I'm not saying that chicks don't drink beer. I'm just saying I don't. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. Especially movies in this time period, I didn't see it a lot. I saw it some, but not a lot. Well, I'm glad you're here then, Blissful. I knew that it was one that you liked really well. You say you know it by heart, one of your favorites. I pretty much know it by heart too. I mean, I've got the subtitles on, um, but I probably wouldn't need those necessarily. So, Cat was explaining what a comet looks like, and Daisy says, "I'll tell you what it looks like." And she's obviously getting buzzed. She says, "It looks like a sperm." So we're starting to see here, if we hadn't saw it already, that even though Daisy is beautiful and seems to have it all together, she's just as insecure as the next person. And looky here, Adam Stewart's character has showed up. He has showed up at her house, and she's like, "Oh shit," you know. But Daisy's mom's and she's not real happy with this guy who's coming to, take her daughter out. And her mother says, "You didn't tell me you were going out for dinner." And she's like, "I didn't know I was." Hey, Scott, you say you never seen this one? Oh, well, I hope you enjoy it. I don't think of this as just a chick movie. Some people might, but I think this has pretty much got something for everyone in it. That's right, Leslie. You say she was so not impressed with him. No, for all his family's money and his nice clothes and his good looks and all that, no, that wasn't doing it for her mom. That's okay, Russell. I mean, I would rather people be honest, actually. So you said sorry, not our type of movie, but I have seen it once. It's okay for a first time watch. Yes. I say give most any movie a chance. So I totally get what you're saying. So there we're seeing the fall leaves. Okay. So they got a flat tire. And Adam Stort's character in this movie is like a lot of rich, kind of entitled guys. And Daisy's saying, "Okay, let's get the spare out." And he's like, "That was the spare." So now they're trying to hitch a ride. Uh, Blissful, you say you love this type of movie. I was laughing not at what Blissful said, but at this upcoming scenes here. So check out Julia Roberts here. She's showing off what she's got. And he's like, "Yeah, that's going to do it." No, still not getting any money. So he says he's got the idea. I just love this. So, there you go. Drops his pants. I love this scene too, Blissful. So you got a car full of girls, guy with his pants down. Heck yeah, they're going to get a ride. Super Batman Nerd, you say, I never seen this, but heard a few things about it. So he's basically taking her out to wine and diner here. And honestly, I don't think his character is a bad character. But I think at this point, he's probably got one thing on his mind. Okay. Because he's a young guy. Hormones are raging. He's got this beautiful girl that, you know, is just uh, wanting to be with him. So I guess she's thinking that he has a boat, and of course he says his dad's boat is the 62-foot schooner out there. And yeah, he's not wasting any time. And you know, if this had been any other chick but Daisy, I think he really could have, you know, taken her for a ride, really. So now we're seeing Kat at another one of her jobs. Remember, she's got 4 jobs, and look who shows up. Tim shows up with Phoebe. So she's getting totally flustered. And how many of us have felt that way, you know, women especially, when somebody that gives us that little tingly, heart stopping moment uh, shows up wherever we are. Russell, you say, loved her brother Eric in The Pope of Greenwich Village and Spun with Mickey Rourke. He has a small part in Spun and also Rob Halford from Judas Priest. I've never seen that, but you know, that's another one that I've heard of. Um, or both of those actually. I need to check those out. So here is the this is kind of funny too. Here is the food critic who continually makes fun of the restaurants and really, really takes them to task. So Leona, the lady there that was doing the books, there she um, is not really fond of this guy. So, but the girls are trying to tell her, you know, if he came and gave a good review to Mystic Pizza, then that would bring more people in. So she tells them, ladies, we have the real thing right here. We have the Mystic Pizza. Her grandfather taught her father how to make it, and her father taught her. And one of these days, she says, when I retire, I just might tell one of you girls. Leona cracks me up too. I love the character. I love the way she's portrayed. I mean, she's pretty much she treats these 3 girls or women as her daughters. She even says that her and her husband don't have any kids at one point. So these 3 ladies are her girls, her children. Super Batman Nerd, you say we just had a health inspector who was really anal about meaningless things. Oh, I know all about that too. I mean, not just health inspectors, but I've had, you know, bosses and supervisors, not necessarily my supervisor now, but in the past that have been really anal over things that I didn't think mattered to a hill of beans. And I think it was more of in case of past jobs that I've had, it was more of a control thing. They always wanted to be in control. So the way that they felt like they were in control was to dictate every single thing in your place of employment. I would imagine that it would, Bliss. When you say my parents owned a diner, and this movie reminds me of those times. So here's another, I mean, tender moment between Kat and Tim. He tells her it's gotten chilly, so he takes off his sweater and tells her to put that on while she's going home. And you almost thought that there was going to be a kiss between the two there, and he gets called away by his daughter. So also at the time that Kat is arriving back home, Daisy is also arriving back home from her date. And who hasn't felt that? I mean, if it isn't an older sister that you see that seems to have it all together, she's having the time of her life, and Kat is she's got Tim's sweater, but she would rather have his heart, right? And their mother is asleep on the couch. You know, that kind of reminds me, my mom has always worked very hard, and all her life she's worked hard, and my dad too. But that scene where they cover up their mother who has fallen asleep in front of the television on the couch. Because, uh, we've obviously seen that the mother works very hard at her job. And so you get tired, you get relaxed, you fall asleep on the couch. So I can't even begin to tell you how many times I saw my own mother either fall asleep in her recliner or fall asleep on the couch, especially as she got older. But, you know, she always worked so hard. She had jobs outside the home. When me and my brother were growing up, dad dad worked outside the home, and mom was a housewife. But let me tell you, a housewife and a mother is one of the hardest jobs somebody could ever have. And I have so much respect for my mother because she did that for years and then had a second career, having jobs after me and my brother got old enough to, take care of ourselves and stuff like that. So here the girls are having a kind of joking little thing where Daisy threw a box of condoms to Kat and said, "Hey, Kat, the guy wears them." You know, so Leona's looking for JoJo, and it seems that Joe and Bill are in the ladies' bathroom, getting it on. I would assume, uh, or playing around or whatever. The way this old woman looks when Bill comes out of the bathroom. This is another scene that I really, really like. And when I made the pizza earlier, I could never throw the dough up in the air like that. Uh, I mean, that's traditional, like, Italian way to make pizza, but there's no way I could do it. I'd wind up with it on my head, it'd be on the floor or whatever. Yeah, I feel bad for Bill too because you can tell that Bill is in totally in love with Joe. And Joe is unfortunately going through a lot of her own insecurities and is unable to commit to Bill. in the way that he needs her to. So Daisy again is getting to live the dream basically here, the fairy tale, all of that stuff. Now, you may be thinking, well, didn't she live the fairy tale in Pretty Woman? Yeah, she did, but totally different things, totally different situations, totally different characters. Um, and where I love Pretty Woman just as much as the next woman would. But Pretty Woman doesn't seem nearly as realistic as the situations in this movie. I have not seen Animal Factory, Russell. I love all of Daisy's different hairstyles in this movie. They're all great. I want to have them all. Super Batman nerd, you say, I once almost I busted two people who probably got it on in the bathroom at work. So she's telling him, "Is this a habit of yours, picking up townies and luring them to your house?" And he's like, "You're the first." And she says, "So how is it?" He says, "So far, it's pretty nice." And then he wants to know how it is for her. And Daisy's gone. So where did she go? Um, ooh, but she left a shoe behind. I don't know. I don't think this is dirty and vulgar at all. I think this is so romantic. So she's leaving, she's not leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, but she's leaving a trail of clothes. Yeah, I bet you did, Blissful. I mean, I think in my later years of watching this, I think I learned a lot from this and other similar scenes. Because I mean, like I said, there's nothing vulgar or dirty about it. It's romantic and so beautiful there. Um, and here's some. I'll let you in on something like not super personal, but he's telling her that that's his father's shirt, and it's like I don't think he'll miss it. Um, but that is something that I think a lot of guys like. I know Steve likes me to wear like a man's shirt like that. It's just sexy to them. And not because they're gay or anything. It's because it's just something about a woman in an oversized man's shirt that's going, almost down to your knees. It's almost like a nightgown. I, you know, I just think it turns them on. So then, you didn't have to see a sex scene. You know that they've had sex or they've made love. Um, and I love the way stuff is designed, displayed, whatever you want to say. Blizzard, you say you love men's dress shirts to sleep in, they're comfy. Yeah, Super Batman nerd, you say maybe if it was my shirt and all that. Yeah, well, in the case of me and Steve, it's like they have been his shirts, and you know, not necessarily do they all the time have to be dress shirts. They could be his t-shirts or a sweatshirt um, of his, you know, if it's colder weather or something. But yeah, I get that. I just think this is all so romantic. So Tim has returned home or to the house that he is working on, I think. Um, and he's just come back from a poker game, and she's really interested in astronomy, so she told Tim she hoped he didn't mind. She was looking through the telescope. So he's asking, "You want soda or juice?" And she's like, "I'll have some wine." So he doesn't hesitate. He brings her some wine out there. Super Batman nerd, you say, so reminds me of when she wore Ed Harris's boxers and stepmom. See, that's something else feel like guys like is, they wouldn't want you wearing their tidy whities, but boxer shorts, that's something else. Oh, and I can just tell, Cat is getting in way, way too deep here. But at this point, you're going along for the ride. You are right there with Cat. So so now again, this isn't like super vulgar, but you can tell that Joe and Bill, I don't know, they like to get a little more frisky, see, because he's of course she says, "Be careful, Bill," says Spencer, but he's trying to take her skirt off, and he looks up and sees all these religious icons, I guess. He says, "I can't do this with them staring at me." So he's got Jesus, a statue of Jesus staring at him. But they're in Joe's parents' house. How ballsy is that, right? Now, I'm not saying that people haven't done it. I like when Steve and I were dating, but here's the thing: Steve and I was in my early to mid 30s. Okay, Steve was 7 years older than me. He's still 7 years older than me. And, he would come and you know, stay the night with me like he did for Valentine's Day one time. And I can't remember if it was Valentine's Day or it was some other occasion where he came and spent the night. But my parents had went to get groceries and we got to, feeling frisky and was gonna, mess around. I'm not gonna go into big detail. And, you know, we had the door shut and everything, and my mom would have never, opened the door and came in. But as soon as Steve, you would think we were a couple of 16-year olds or something. As soon as he heard my parents pull up, he was like, "Oh my god, we can't do this." So I understand that whole thing, but I don't know why Joe jumps on her dad like that. I guess she thinks that her dad is going to hurt Bill, but yeah, I love this scene too. It's like she knows her parents are asleep in the house and she still screams. So they call Daisy's man the prince of prep school, and he's, I guess, supposed to be out of town visiting a grandmother. Oh, now that would piss me off too. If Steve had a boat and he named it Nympho, um, and she's of course saying, "Thank God I didn't marry him." She's really pissed right now. So Joe's really pissed at Bill now. So they're basically going to hotwire his truck and take off in it. So Kat's standing guard while Joe is, working her magic. Oh no, she's not hotwiring. I forgot. She's getting the spare key he has underneath the vehicle. And they're playing Aretha Franklin's Respect, which is that's the song for empowerment for women. I think that song is still empowerment for women. So some of our people might have got a little bit bored and left. I noticed some people dropped out, but that's okay. That is okay. Um, Blissful, I don't know if you heard me say that I did a video of me fixing the Mystic Pizza. I already ate a piece, um, but I hope y'all will. For those of you that are interested, I hope those of you that, like I said, would be interested in making your own Mystic Pizza will watch that and get some enjoyment out of it. Just me kind of milling around in my kitchen. Yeah, I've got it all recorded and everything, but I've got to get it uploaded to YouTube and put all my different stuff on there. I've got a thumbnail. I always forget that that's called a thumbnail. A thumbnail ready, but I just got to fix it up a little bit. So they are outside the um, shoot. Uh, well, I'll think of it in a minute. My brain just went blank. But the Daisy and Joe are jitterbugging there. And so remember that Adam Stork's his character is supposed to be out of town, and Kat's seeing him. And there's a beautiful young woman with him. So what are they supposed to think? Uh, they're supposed to think he's messing around on Daisy. And so Kat tries to get him out of there before she sees anything. And oh no, she's seen them. Super Batman Nerd, you say, I think this is my third Lily Taylor movie. The Haunting was my first. Lily Taylor is an excellent actress. Excellent. All three of these main actresses are excellent. So, oh, Daisy's pissed. She's calling herself stupid here. This is going to be replicated or duplicated or whatever you want to say later on by a different character. The whole stupid thing. And how many of us women have felt stupid at some point in time in regards to romance, right? So, yeah, but Daisy is pissed. So, it looked like she was going to hit his car with the truck. No, she's going to dump this fish or whatever and stinky water on his car. I mean, 2 barrels of it. Yeah, unseen men too. I don't mean to leave the men out of the scenario. So this is Serena Windsor. That's his sister. And she's like, "How was I supposed to know? You said you were at your grandmother's." And he says, "My grandmother had a migraine, so we came back." And unseen, you say, "Sure you don't, Dana." Well, so you say you did something similar when you were that age? Well, we've all done things that were, in hindsight, were sort of foolish, but at the time we did them, it seemed perfectly acceptable that we do that, right? It's right, Blissful. Nothing like destruction of property. So I guess Joe's going to go talk to Bill again, right? And she's cooled down and she says she's sorry she took his truck. And he said, I took the nympho off my boat. She says, my sister and my brother-in-law are going away and we can have their apartment for 3 whole days and nights. And he's like, I don't think so, Joe. And she's like, what, are you crazy? He's saying he don't want to. Doesn't want to do it. So he says, your parents' place, my parents' place, your sister's apartment, the damn jaunt, the pizza parlor. He says he loves her. And he said, doesn't that mean anything to you? Don't you want to make a commitment? And this is usually the reverse of how things are, or at least in my view. And he says, I love you. And he said, all you love is my dick. And he says, do you know how that makes me feel? And he tells her he's finished. He can't do this anymore. And again, no offense to guys when I said that it's usually the reverse. I'm not saying that that's always the case. I'm just saying usually it is. So now JoJo is heartbroken. Everybody's shocked because Joe's 3 hours early. And of course, Leona says, you pregnant, JoJo? And she says, bite your tongue, Leona. And she said, it's just I broke up with Bill this morning. So she's making out like she broke it off with him, to save face. So she's trying to justify all this. She says, everything Bill wants, she does, and everything she wants, Bill doesn't. So she's trying to sell herself now that she doesn't love Bill. But she said, but I really do love Bill. I guess I should ask Blissful. Blissful, don't you just love those Slice of Heaven shirts on there? I do. I want one. So now Kat is asking Tim about Nikki, his wife, and how they met and all that stuff. So, Blizzle, you say you wanted one of those shirts for a while. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to try to see if I can somehow order one or, um, I mean, you probably could get them if you actually went to Mystic Pizza in Connecticut, but I don't know that for sure. Or you maybe could get a knockoff version, or you could make your own. So, Kat is in love with Tim at this point. She's just fell head over heels in love. And, he just asked her, well, aren't they going to kill you at the pizza place where you work? And she said, nah, they'll cover for me. And Daisy is none too happy. She's wanting to know, where the hell is Kat? And Daisy is pissed because she's supposed to have dinner at Charlie's parents' house, Adam Stork's character. And Kat's not there to take her shift, so Daisy is having to cover. And meanwhile, Kat is having a lovely evening in with Tim and Phoebe while Daisy is working her shift. And this is probably the most irresponsible Kat has been the entire movie. So Charlie tells her they'll do it another time and it'll be okay. And Kat, she knows this isn't going to be good, but she's trying to, I guess, weather the storm a little bit. And then she says, hey, I'm sorry I didn't show up. Ah, that's a good question, Blissful. You say, I wonder if Teespring has those t shirts. It's entirely possible. Super Batman Nerd, you say, I once stayed 3 hours over when the person that was supposed to relieve me didn't show up until 9 a.m. Oh, man. So then Daisy's like, just what the hell do you two do together? And Kat says, if I told you, it would sound stupid. And then that's when Daisy says, Daddy boffing the babysitter. It's an old story. And she tells her, you're living in a fucking romance novel, Kat. And then Kat says, boffing, fucking, you're the great Daisy, nobody's fool, right? And then she gets a smack in the face, and Daisy says, wipe your conscience. That is one of the great lines, that wipe your conscience, just after the slap. Because Kat is a good girl, but she's getting swept up in all this stuff with Tim, and she's making bad decisions. And this is going to come back to bite her. soon. See, that is why I try never to change my order once I put it in. Is that what I've done my time working in a restaurant, so I know it's not easy. I've not been a waitress, but I have seen other girls that are waitresses. I've been to restaurants and seen how hard those waitresses work for the most part. I mean, every once in a while you might run across one that's not really doing that good. So, you know, how irritating to order a pizza and then when the waitress comes up by, "Hey, can we change that?" So that's why I try not to change things. Okay. So Joe is taking care of Phoebe. Why? Because Kat is with Tim at the old house. It's storming and okay, this is a setup for we would like this to be good for her and Tim. However, we got to think in terms of reality here. The guy is a married man, and not all married men will leave their wives for somebody else. And also, I'm not advocating you go after married men. Don't let anybody get that idea. Um, but there have been, I've never been in love with a married man, um, but I've had feelings for somebody that had a serious girlfriend. And so, but I never did anything about it and I'm not putting down anybody that has done that. But I just could not bring myself to act on anything. But, you know, there are some women and girls that it doesn't matter. And again, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just saying I guess they're more adventurous than I am. So they're finally going to, I guess, consummate what's been kind of stewing um, for the majority of this movie since she met Tim. So you say, or they forget to tell you they're married, thus destruction of property. Yeah, that happens too. But what happens here in the near future is so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking because, okay, so they've made love. They're, I mean, Kat thinks she's gonna be with Tim now. I think in her young mind that is exactly what she thinks is gonna happen. And he's, kind of doing the gentleman thing and covering up her so she doesn't get rained on. And they come in the house and Nikki is back home. And you can tell that Tim was not expecting Nikki to be home this early. And then, oh man, humiliation upon humiliation. What's just transpired between Kat and Tim, and then she's having to see him with his wife And they're going to bring this up. He doesn't say anything. And, he's just kind of standing there. I mean, what a jerk, because this was a character I liked until this moment. And this moment, I was like, no, you know, grow some balls, dude. And, I think his wife's suspicious, just that look on her face. And so Joe is kind of freaking out, and Kat's just dumbfounded. She's in shock. Um, and Joe's still going on, I don't think she knows. Okay, all right, he had his arm around you, so what, right? So Joe really quickly had to come up with a story when Nikki shows up at the door. And she's really freaking out. Oh, you don't think she'd come after you, Kat? She says, at least with Billy, what you see is what you get. But then she calls Tim a gutless wonder, and he basically is. So this is the coming up is the heartbreaking, the most heartbreaking scene of this entire movie. So Daisy is still pissed, you know, and she's saying she wants her boots. I want my boots back, and don't use my comb. I mean, she's really pissed. And then she's like, "Cat, are you alive?" And Cat is just devastated. She's sobbing now. And Daisy realizes something's really wrong here. So she wants to know what happened. Kat tells her that Nikki came back tonight and that Tim just stood there and didn't say a word to her. And this really seems like a girl that her heart is breaking now. Annabeth Gish is really, really good in this scene. Here's where she says, I just feel so stupid. And she says, why does it hurt so much? And she really looks like she's hurting. And she doesn't want her sister to leave. She just wants her to stay with her. That's what I was doing a little earlier, was sprinkling cheese on a pizza. And so Kat is still so distraught that she picks up the pizza that hasn't been cooked. And Leona's like, oh my gosh. And there is the food critic. And the gentleman has left his teeth in the glass again. And she says, Leona, you got to make the best mystic pizza in your life. And she's like, why? And she points to the a gentleman out there. And Leona's like, take your pick. And we'll find out later. Well, actually, we find out right there that it's really getting to Leona, but she was acting like it wasn't a big deal. But everybody's just watching this guy. Yeah, definitely. Leona was sweating. I just love the kind of pizza too that the cheese will just stretch, when you take a bite. So they're wanting to give him, more food, and he says, "No, thanks, just the check." And he's taking all of like 2 or 3 bites off a piece of pizza, and he doesn't even want to take the rest of it home. So they can all only assume that he's not going to give them a good review. And she said somebody ought to ram fried goat cheese up his ass. Leona is one of the most colorful characters in this movie, I would say. I like that line too. Fucking lot of lobsters here. So Daisy's telling her mother, Mom, I'm not going to be able to take you to the potluck. Charlie invited me to have dinner with his family. And her mother says, he's not going to marry you either. And then her mother said, you think I always look like this? When I was your age, you think they weren't sniffing around after me? Different clothes, same line. Oh, she says, I had sense. Leslie, you say she kind of reminds me of my mom, LOL. I mean, I there certain things of course and I'm not saying this to make anybody feel bad if you were promiscuous or went to a lot of parties or anything like that when you were younger. I am not saying that that is wrong in any way. I just never did that. So I guess my mom couldn't use that on me, but we had other arguments, over different things. And guess what they served her? Lobster. Oh, Leona. Oh, okay. Yeah, Leona is like the every mom or something like that. Charlie's family, though, some of them are real jerks in the family. So his parents are kind of okay. Um, And Charlie's sister's okay, but his aunt and uncle, they're kind of jerky, I think. But you can tell that Charlie and his father don't have a good relationship, and this is very uncomfortable for most everybody, including Daisy. Super Batman, or do you like lobster? I don't think I've ever had lobster. Okay, so there was one of the when his aunt said something about those Portuguese girls. They're so hard to train. And he says, Aunt Tweety, you can't even train your own husband to sleep at home. And there was Matt Damon, by the way, very young Matt Damon. Oh, you allergic to shellfish, Super Batman? That's not good. So he's trying to apologize to her, but he says they deserved it. She says the only jerk at that table was you. They were just being themselves. You bring home your poor Portuguese girlfriend for dinner, shake up the family a little. She says, I'm poor and I hate it. I admit it. I even thought I was desperate, but I'm not half as desperate as you. So she feels like he was using her to get at his dad. So look who's showing up here. Tim and Phoebe. That's the sweetest little girl, though. And he even would have an opportunity to say something to her about the whole previous situation. But instead, it's almost like he's trying to buy her off. He's going to give her a check, he says, for Yale. And so there's nothing left but to say goodbye. And she's going to tear the check up, which would like to think that would be exactly what I would do if I was in that situation. So Joe's like, if you initial it, you can still cash it. And Daisy is like, she doesn't need them. Super Batman Nerd, you say with that face, he looks like Christopher Reeve twin. I didn't think about that. Okay, so they're screaming about something. What? And Leon's like, "What is it now?" So the the food critic says, the service was over solicitous. He says, "No, I'm not a pizza person." But he says this pizza is, how shall I say it in a word? Superb. You gotta love Leona. So he's gonna give them 4 stars. Guy probably doesn't remember the last time he gave a restaurant 4 stars. So here they're having another discussion. She says, "Bill, I got to maintain my own identity." He's like, "Maintain your own identity." She says, "I understand about commitment and I love you more than anything, but you got to know exactly where I stand because absolutely nothing has changed." He says, "Accept your name." And we see that they have gotten married finally. So their wedding reception is at the Mystic Pizza restaurant. And there Julia Roberts is looking so absolutely beautiful. These kids smoking and drinking. And there Charlie shows up. 80s wedding gowns, absolutely blissful. Absolutely gorgeous wedding gowns, too. He says, "You want to dance with me or Cat, Leon?" And she says, "Not you." So she's giving Cat something. She says, "It's for Yale. You'll pay me back." And this is where she says, "We don't have any kids of our own. Daisy, JoJo, you're my kids." And I not only love the bridal gown, but I love the matron of honor and uh, you know, whatever you want to call it, the wedding party gowns, I guess. And she's sitting there with all these ladies that, like, I don't want to call them overweight, really, but I'm sure to Joe that they do, and that's kind of her nightmare is, and she said that earlier, getting heavy and not looking like you once did and all that stuff. So there's Charlie. I love this scene too. This is kind of, it's almost like Daisy gets her revenge and she gets the guy too, sort of thing. So he's saying, I owe you an apology. And she's like, okay. Another great hairstyle on Julia Roberts again, by the way. So she says, so you like chocolate ice cream? And he thinks, oh, I'm back in the fold now. And he says, it's my favorite. And she says, well, this must be your lucky night. So, guys, be careful of, getting sucked in by chocolate ice cream. I guess I should say. And she's like, keep it up. And she just walks out. And she says, next Thursday is Thanksgiving. And she says, soon I'll be at college. And she says, next time you take on a Yaley, pick one your own age. And so then Joe comes out and says, you're never going to believe what Bill's mom said. So when am I going to hear some good news? She says, I've been married 2 hours and she wants me knocked up already. She says, you know what I wonder? And they say, what? What the hell do you think Leona really puts in that pizza? And then that gets another big laugh from the three of them. And a great, great way to end the movie. And then we go into the song, These Are the Times to Remember, which is another like fantastic song about friendship. In a nutshell, that's what it's about. So again, I'll probably I will let the credits run out like I always do. So we still got 5 people in here. That's not bad. Um, I wasn't expecting like a huge group of people. Perhaps maybe people will watch this later and, come up with their own copy of this to watch as I talk about it. And for those of you that missed me eating my piece of Mystic Pizza that I made myself, um, feel free to go back and watch this on the replay. Uh, I also will be putting up a video, hopefully tonight, where I actually show how I made my own Mystic Pizza. And, you guys and gals, both guys and gals, I know both like to cook, can decide if you want to make your own sometime. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, wonderful choice, Dana. Thank you, Rooster. You say good movie, Dana. So I'm glad that, at least some of you enjoyed it. I mean, Russell was even in here, and this wasn't his type of movie. So I'm thankful for that. I don't know if he's still in here, but I am thankful that people showed up, even if this wasn't necessarily their cup of tea. I don't know exactly how Unseen feels about the movie, but I'm glad that he showed up as well. So, did anybody other than me have some kind of pizza tonight as we were watching this? I'm just curious. Um, I don't know if everybody follows like these food theme things whenever I do stuff, but I just think it's fun to do sometimes. So they actually filmed this several places in Connecticut, but Mystic, Connecticut was actually one of the places that they filmed in. This was shot entirely on location in Connecticut and Rhode Island. There you go, Blizzard. You say no, but now I want to get my mom's pizza dough recipe out and make one. Super Batman nerd, you say. I'm sure we've seen more worse like Twilight. Yeah, Twilight unfortunately will not, unfortunately or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, will not be one that I will be showing on my channel just because I really don't think I could sit through that movie. I really, really don't. I think the last time I watched Twilight was when the Dead Pit Boys did they actually did a drunken commentary for it. That was the only way I could watch it. That was the only way I could sit through it with their entertaining drunken commentary for it. So, but if you like Twilight, cool. I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody liking Twilight. Um, it's just not my type of movie. So, guys and gals, I got a little bit of a late start. So I think I'm about ready to call it a night because I do have to do a few things, clean up some dishes and all of that jazz, and try to get some rest because I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I guess I don't want to say they're forcing all of us to be in the phone queue at work, but tomorrow is starting. Everybody's going to have assigned time in the phone queue. I don't know why this is because they told us our abandonment rate on phone calls is really low now. But I guess they want to get it down even lower. I don't know. But I'm not really looking forward to that because I have a lot of things that I need to do tomorrow. For one thing, there's two printers that I put on print servers that I need to talk to the people at the locations and get the computers connected to the printer, at least the computers that they want to be connected to those printers. There'll be onboardings I've got to do. Um, and my entire afternoon basically is going to be spent on the phones. And I'm not too jazzed about that because I know what's going to happen, and yeah, I'm venting. I'm sorry. But I know exactly what's going to happen because they're going to get us on the phones. We're going to get stuck on those damn phones, taking phone call after phone call after phone call. And then our tickets are going to pile up. And then they're going to be on our ass again about keeping up with our tickets. And I if it comes to that, I'm probably going to have a talk with my supervisor because you literally can't have your cake and eat it too. Either the people that have to be on the phones all the time don't take tickets or vice versa. The people taking tickets don't be in the phone queue. That's the only way, And I'm not saying that, we shouldn't share the load, but I can almost guarantee you there are some people on that help desk that would much rather be on phones. And then there are other people that would rather be working tickets. Me, I like to work tickets, and I call the people as I need to speak with them about things. I don't like taking calls and having somebody be up my ass over an x-ray thing. And now they're telling us, they say you got to get those x-rays working because that they lose money if they can't do x-rays, right? So, and I know it sounds like I'm yelling, but I'm just like I've been holding all this in, and I apologize for unloading on you guys, but it feels good to get it out. Actually, I know you guys can't do a thing about it, but um now they're wanting us, like, if after 10 minutes, at first they told us you stay on the call, stay on the call, stay on the call until the x-ray gets fixed. Now they tell us after 10 minutes, and you're not supposed to let the team member know that you don't know how to fix it. Oh, don't do that because they'll lose confidence in us on the help desk. But now, after 10 minutes, you're supposed to, I guess, still be on the phone with them and then get in the chat and be scrambling around in the Teams chat trying to figure out an answer. And then after 20 minutes, you're supposed to say, okay, I need to get with such and such person, or get with somebody else on this. I'll get back with you. And I just don't know how that's going to work. There are going to be more complaints about we needed our x-ray and it took 2 hours to fix because they had to get with somebody else and then get back with me. So, I think I'm through venting for the night. But anyway, let me read some of these chat messages. Um, Bye, Rooster. I'm actually gonna get off here myself here in just a few seconds. Whistle said, "No, I did my twilight time." LOL. Super Batman Nerdy said, "I wanted to give myself a concussion for watching it." Oh. Blissful, you say another Twilight atrocity was 50 Shades of Grey that was originally a Twilight fan fiction. Was it really? I didn't know that. But yeah, 50 Shades of Grey is ridiculous to me. I read the first book and I was like, no. And Super Batman Nerd, you said a funny story about 50 Shades of Grey. I woke up and raised up like Jason when the sex scenes came on. Yeah, I'm like blissful. That's fun. Oh man. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight for this watch along. Uh, so I'm hoping that tomorrow night I can finish up Camp Cronenberg. We shall see. It probably depends on how tough my day is tomorrow. You say it was originally called Master of the Universe? Oh lordy. Um, and then I don't know about Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm definitely planning on me and TJ finishing up the last 8 episodes of the second season of Friday the 13th, the series. Thursday will be another Seductive Poison, the Resurgence. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be, but hopefully it will be something exciting and interesting. Friday should be another early Friday stream, but now it's going to be called Midday with Dana and Jay. And I am going to try to get some intro together before Friday, um, that will be flashy and all that stuff and get people really excited about uh, this Friday and future Fridays with me and Jay, just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. Very free form, no really standard structure to them. People seem to like it. Jay seems to love getting on there with me on Fridays, and I love him being on there. It's great to have somebody to bounce things off of. So, and then we will be having another group of watch alongs for Saturday and Sunday. It will actually be, I believe it's Phantasm. Phantasm will be for Saturday. Hold on one second here. Just trying to give you guys that are in here a little heads up. So Saturday will be Phantasm and Sunday will be Stand By Me, a Stephen King adaptation. So you guys can look forward to all of that upcoming in the next week. Okay. And so, with all that being said, as I always say, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. You guys and gals have a great night, and I'll see you next time.